Hello, my name is Miss Svana and I'm with the Pioneer Library System, and I'm excited that you're here to join me for Mythology Adventures again. Last time we explored the Egyptian god Horus, and today we are going to be investigating the Norse god Baldr. And it is Baldr. I looked it up. I thought it was Baldr, but then I looked for pronunciations and found out otherwise. I'm going to be telling stories from gods and heroes mythology from around the world. You can download this off of Hoopla using your library card, and you can read all of the different myths that are in this book, because I am not even getting through half of them. There's a lot of different mythologies from around the world. So today, as I said, we're going to be doing Baldr. Here is Baldr. He was considered beautiful. He was handsome. He was the god of light and joy, purity, summer. Everyone loved him. He was just a really fun, bright person to be around for a god. He is Norse. The myth that I'm focusing on is an Icelandic version, so it's from Iceland. He lives in Asgard, which is a realm for the gods and goddesses that are Norse. And he is the son of Odin and Frigg, which are very high gods and goddesses in their hierarchy. And he had many, many siblings, but he had a twin brother named Hodr. And Hodr was blind, which will come into play with this myth. So Baldr was very bright and kind, and everyone loved him, and Frigg, his mother, wanted to protect him. So she took him around to everyone in the world and every living thing in the world to make them promise they wouldn't hurt him, that no harm would come to him. So she went to the trees and the grass and the flowers and asked them not to harm her son Baldr, and she asked all the gods and goddesses and humans in the world to also not harm him. She asked everyone except for mistletoe. She didn't think mistletoe mattered. She kind of forgot about mistletoe. So mistletoe is the only thing in the world that was not asked to not harm Baldr. So Baldr was invincible, and you can see in the picture, they played a game with him a lot, which is where they would throw things at him, and they would just bounce off of him. So those are arrows that would just bounce right off of him. They'd throw arrows at him, they'd throw rocks, axes, all kinds of things, but since he was invincible, it just popped right off like he had a force field around him. Now Hodr was the only one who couldn't play that game with his brother, because he couldn't aim at Baldr because Hodr was blind. So he often wished that he could play that game, and then a trickster god named Loki came and he tricked Hodr into playing. So he said, if you want my help, I can help you play this game. I've got this arrow, you can shoot at him. So the arrow was made out of mistletoe. And if you remember, mistletoe, it's the only thing that wasn't asked not to harm him. So Loki got the mistletoe arrow and a bow, as you can see right there, and helped Hodr aim at his brother and fired the arrow. And of course, since the arrow was made out of mistletoe, it was the only thing that didn't bounce off of Baldr. So Baldr died. So everyone was very upset. This was one of their favorites, and he's died. And so Frigg went to the underworld to ask the goddess of the underworld if she would let Baldr return to Asgard. And the goddess said, usually I don't let people leave the underworld once they're here, but if you can make every living creature cry for Baldr, then I will allow him to come back to Asgard. So Frigg went to each living item in the world, including mistletoe this time, and asked them to cry for Baldr. And every living creature did except for one. It was an old woman, And a lot of people think that it was Loki in disguise. So unfortunately, they didn't get everyone to cry for him. So then Baldr had to stay in the underworld. So that is the story of Baldr. So we are going to be doing a craft today where we are going to make our own teardrop so we can cry for Baldr too. Today, for making our teardrop, you will only need 2 pieces of paper, a stapler, a marker or pencil, a pair of scissors, and either a rubber band or string, whichever one you would like to use. I'm going to start by making a template for my teardrop. So I'm going to take, I used an index card because it's just about the right size. So I'm going to make a half heart. I folded it in half, and then I'm going to make a half a heart, and then I will cut it out. Now that it's cut out, I'm going to open it and then cut down the center line so I have 2 halves. Then I'm going to take my blue paper, you can use blue paper or any paper that you have, and you're going to fold it so that this fits. So you'll just want to make sure it fits just the right size. And then you're going to fold your paper and then just keep folding it all the way across. And I'm pushing down on the sides so it's creased. There. And then I'm going to trace it. So I'm going to do my teardrop here, and then the other half of the teardrop here. So then I'm going to trace both of these. So then my teardrops will end up being about the same size. You want to make sure that your line here is lined up with your crease. And then I'll do the other side. Okay, so now I have 2 halves cut. Now I'm going to cut them, leave it folded, and just cut along the lines. And it'll be a little thick because you folded so much, but you can do it. You may have a grown-up help you cut if you need to. And you may need to use grown-up scissors, which would bring a grown-up into it. Okay, so now that they're cut out, I can open them. Now that I have all of my teardrops stacked, I'm going to take my stapler and go to the crease and staple one at the top and one towards the middle. You can also take this time to put your rubber band or string or ribbon at the very top and try to staple it in along the crease as well. It's a little bit trickier to do that, but you can do it. There. There it is. Now you're going to pull each sheet of the teardrop to fan it. So you can do it from both sides. Fold it along that crease again, but backwards. And you're going to do that with all of these. Just fold it around so that it fans out. And then you've made a teardrop. You can do this with any size. You can make really little teardrops. You can make bigger teardrops. You can do it with as many pieces of paper as you want. You can stack a whole bunch of them and have just a ton of little fans going around. So there's lots of different ways to make them. Thank you for joining the Pioneer Library System today for our mythology adventure. Please tune in for the next one. Thank you.